What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video. In today's video, we dive into a deck that I kind of saw pop up over the weekend that looked fairly interesting and is actually playing like what I feel like based on when I went to the pre-releases this week. A lot of people's favorite card to come out of Crimson Vow, and that is Edgar Charm Groom. He essentially is this set's essential Dracula card. So this deck is actually fairly interesting. It is kind of like a shell of Orzhov control with a little bit of some of the new cards from Crimson Vow, one being Edgar himself, the other one being Fell Stinger. Other than that, I mean, this is kind of like that Orzhov Blood Money style deck, but we're playing Edgar. We are playing 4 copies. As it does have a unique synergy when you actually have multiples of them out on the battlefield. If you at least have 2 of these out on the battlefield, one can continuously be the coffin, while the other one can continuously be the Edgar side itself. Therefore, every time you create a 1/1 black vampire creature, it's going to be a 2/2. Other than that, we don't really play too many, vampires in the deck. He's just kind of in here because unless your opponent exiles him, he just kind of keeps on returning regardless of that. And because we can grind the game out, he'll eventually probably come back over and over and over again. Other than that, the deck is fairly straightforward. If you haven't seen an Orzhov kind of control style Blood Money deck, the deck is pretty straightforward, as we have 4 copies of the Eye Twitch to go to our learn board to find possibly a card depending on the situation, get it into our hand, and maybe either find land with environmental sciences. We have the Necrotic Fumes in the side in case we want to, possibly exile a particular card. Other than that, we have learned just because I think it's a pretty good mechanic, especially in best of one. Getting additional cards depending on the situation is always very good. Shambling Gas, as well as we are playing Deadly Dispute. Shambling Gas plus Deadly Dispute is definitely a good combo. You can attack in, especially in the early game, to either possibly even brave the stench or even search the body depending on the situation. If we need a little bit of a ramp, the treasure token is always very good, but if we just want to maybe chump block and also get rid of another creature, that's also very good as well. In the 2-drop slot, we do bring in the Professor of Symbology. It is a 2-mana 2/1. Also, when it enters the battlefield, we learn. So just, kind of utilizing the learn mechanic to just, look for particular cards of that answer, depending on the game situation. In the early turns, we're looking for the cards to kind of help make sure we get our mana sources in the early turns, so we're not missing land drops in that sense. After that, we have the Deadly Dispute to, sacrifice one of our, maybe like our Shambling Gas and or Eye Twitch, to draw 2 cards, create a treasure token, or worst case scenario, we can always sacrifice a treasure token, as this card will replace that treasure token we do sacrifice. We have 1 copy of Infernal Grasp just because, it's one of those interesting things. As we are playing black-white, we are going to be playing Vanish Inverse as well. Great in the monocolored matchup in the meta, mono-white, mono-green being very prevalent. Gets rid of a couple other, mono red cards. I'm not really sure what else is going to be popping up. I do think a lot of people are playing a lot of different things, as Crimson Vow being the new set. Then after that, we have the Mihawk Massacre, 3 copies of Legendary Enchantment. You tap X into black, give everything on the board -X/-X, and whenever a creature we control dies, each opponent loses a life. Every time a creature an opponent control dies, we gain a life. So kind of like our stabilization card, depending on the game state and board state as well. We tap it to maybe wipe out our opponent's board. If we don't have enough mana, maybe to get to that blood on the snow just yet. Then after that, we have the new card Fell Stinger, as kind of being that card that's going to utilize us being able to exploit to draw 2 cards, lose 2 life in the process. Or worst case scenario, it's just going to be a 3/2 Death Toucher that our opponent's going to have to either get rid of in order for us to, for them to attack through it, because Death Touch is great in that sense as long as the creature doesn't have first strike or double strike. The cards will exchange even if their creature's greater power. Then we go into the Edgar, just another card that I think feels very well in this, this control style grindy deck, being a 4-mana 4/4. Other vampires we control get +1/+1. When it dies, return to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control, which is the coffin that you see above me. And the coffin does, at the beginning of our upkeep, create a 1/1 black-white vampire creature token with lifelink and put a bloodline counter on Edgar Markov's coffin. If there are 3 or more bloodline counters on it, remove those counters and transform it back to the Edgar side. So like I said, you can kind of play 2 of these, one always being the coffin while the other one always being the Edgar. And every time you transform it, you just make the one that would have summon and sickness back into the coffin and keep the other one that would be able to be the attacker. Then we have 4 copies of Lolth's Spider Queen, as it being probably one of the better cards that work when it comes to Planeswalkers for this deck, as there's a lot of cards we're going to be sacrificing for effects. Getting those counters for free on our Lolth is definitely very good. The ability to draw a card, lose a life in that process, creating 2/1 black spider creature menace tokens are also good as well. And if we get there, whenever we can get the emblem, and whenever we accomplish damage by one or more creatures we control, if that player lost less than 8 life this turn, they lose life equal to the difference. So just an interesting ultimate effect, but we're really just trying to create a board presence and just kind of dig a little bit deeper for answers depending on what our opponent's going to say. Maybe we'll get to the -8, but like I said, we're just bouncing really the first 2 effects, and hopefully going to lose creatures in that process to then keep the counters being added to the little Spider Queen. And then we also have 3 copies of Blood in the Snow, just being that card that's going to hopefully destroy our the board state, as well as get something back from our graveyard to the battlefield equal to the snow mana that we paid to cast the spell. We are playing snow mana just because it helps with the Blood on the Snow, so we do have 5 of the snow-covered plains. We have 6 of the snow-covered swamps. We have 4 of the black-white pathways, 4 of the snowfall sinkholes, 4 faceless havens as being our aggressor. If there's some sort of board wipe, we can continue to attack with it. And we have 1 copy of Field of Ruin. So this is kind of the deck we're going for. I mean, there's arguments to say you could possibly play like a Hive, maybe like a 1-of, but we kind of want to utilize we want to maximize the amount of snow mana that we have on the battlefield. But with that being said, we're actually going to dive into the rank queue. I don't actually play a lot of ranked queue, but if you guys like the video, hit that like button. If you're new here, when I post new videos on the channel, hit that subscribe button. But let's go into the games and kind of see how the deck does. All right, opponent's going first. Our hand's okay. We have ways to kind of fix our mana, so that's not bad, but we can't play our 1-drop. So I'm going to keep on maybe the idea we draw the black mana source. Worst case scenario, like I said, we got to just wait into turn 2 to fix it. And I join the play queue. Okay, Ranger class, not bad. All right, of course we draw the black mana source after we've played the white mana, so we'll play Professor. We'll get a Sciences. Our opponent may, in this scenario, level up, or if they play a creature, okay. They're playing Wolves, nice. No attacks, nice for us. Let's Shambling Ghast, Haven, Sciences, and we will get an additional black mana. We only have 1, so we need double black for Lolth, but no attacks. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. So they're gonna flip to nighttime automatically. What does that mean for us is the question. Let's play Edgar and hold back. I mean, they have some decent attacks, but not great attacks. All right. Question is, do they want to attack right now? I guess they're doing the math. Okay, 4-3. So 1 floated mana here. So what do we want to do? We'll have these go here, and we'll have this go there. I mean, we take a decent amount of damage, but we can always do the -1/-1 on the Lord. So I think that's the play. I mean, if they have a pump spell, they have a pump spell good for them. We will give this -1/-1. We will get our coffin on the battlefield now. And do they have a follow-up? They do not. And it is our turn. So 1-1. I think we play Lolth here, and we create some spiders. So I feel like that was a pretty decent board change. Okay, that's good. That's a good card. Yep. So our opponent's playing very powerful spells. This is very good because it deals 2 damage not just to one of my creatures. It deals 2 damage to me, my planeswalker. Yeah, so it's doing some damage. We'll just block here. I'll take the 6. We'll gain a life. Doesn't have Menet. It doesn't have maybe we should do this. Go get a sciences. Yeah, we don't have any creature land, so we'll keep that. We'll get a swamp. Play the swamp, get an eye twitch, get a guest. And we'll say go. Okay, nice. 12R, nice. This is definitely a good board state we want to be in. Another ranger class is perfect. They're going ham right now, which is good for us. We will block here. We gain a life. We'll learn. We will get mascot. Edgar comes back. Is this a blood turn? I think it's a blood turn. They have a decent sized board. They have to draw some gas. We have cards that will definitely take over. Yeah, let's swing. See what happens. They want to block. They want to block. Okay, they take it. Interesting. I would assume they would block just being like, hey, they have these cards, but we'll get that. Create a treasure. We'll get some spiders and we'll say go. Nice. So I guess they have sorcery spells, that means? Alright, we're leveling up. Vampire. We'll vanish inverse and get in for some damage. We'll draw. Nice. Hit for 2. We'll play our Death Toucher. We'll exploit there. And we'll do to ourselves. Play a land. And we'll say go. I'm not going to play another Fell Stinger. We're getting kind of low on life. Nice. Go to attacks. Hit. Damage. Play a planes. Play mascot. And we will draw a card. Nice. Okay. Does it have trample? No. You gain a life. Get a counter. Edgar comes back. We have vampires. We will activate. I think we're wide enough. And we finish off our opponent. Hit him with the good old GGs. Opponent goes first, but our hand's playable. I mean, it doesn't have it's just this and this, but I think we can draw into stuff. I mean, worst case scenario, we do have a faceless haven, multiple copies, so I think, like I said, it's playable. Playing mono blue of some sort, probably Fate and Hope here, I'm thinking is what they have. I don't know what else sticks at 2. Okay. So they got the 1 mana 1/1 blocker. Swing in. They're not going to block. They're not going to block. We'll sacrifice this. Put pressure on them. Make sure they don't get tempo here. I'm gonna end turn. Say go. Next turn we can play Edgar on turn 3, which is pretty nice for us. So if they tap out again, this puts us in a good position. And then we can double Edgar, which is definitely awesome as well. That's the dream. All right, we got a wizard class, so it looks like we're playing like a budget, maybe budget like mono blue tempo. I'm feeling here. You know, let's hold off on the Edgar. They have 2 mana open. I don't know what that entails, but we'll play 2 mana Professor. Let's kind of build up the board state a little bit. Are they going to bounce it? I get the effect regardless. I'm not sure what else they could have here that would... I'm thinking it's just a bounce. All right. So I don't think I went over my learn board, but it's 1 Confront the Past, 2 Mascots, 2 Necrotics, and 2 Environmental Sciences. So we'll grab the Environmental just to make sure we can hit our land drop. And then we'll just play another Shambling Gas and we'll say go. But yeah, I mean, we want to put pressure on our opponent because, like I said, their deck is built around tempo and us. So the more pressure we can put on them, the better. All right. That's good for us. Because this allows us to now play Edgar without any worry of board removal. Or what should I say? Bounce back? Well, there we go. Maybe so. Maybe not. I guess they drew their 1 mana. So it looks like they want to try to get to the -5. We'll play another Faceless Haven. We're just going to attack him for 3. They have something, so it's like I don't want to play Edgar if he's just going to get bounced immediately. But I'm thinking this is where Fate and Hope is somewhere sitting in their hand. Yeah, we're going to play Edgar now. If they bounce it, they bounce it. I would say you bounce the Edgar. Or not. Okay. I don't know what they have that's -1 then. Or for 1 mana that's sticking. Maybe it's a draw effect. Interesting. All right, so we're going to do the legend rule thing with Edgar. We're going to attack first. And then we're going to play the untapped one. So we're going to do Edgar. Yeah. And we're going to keep the one that's untapped. We're going to keep that one. The other one dies. So now we have an Edgar that is a coffin and the other one is a creature. So now we're going to have something that's going to generate tokens for us during our upkeep. And then we have someone pumping those tokens. Fair. Pass to attackers. My turn. Vampire. Mehook is definitely a good, like, hey, we have stuff. But we're also going to Faceless Haven activate. So that's also a changeling, so it counts as a vampire. And we're just going to go all in. See what they got. Tap target creature, sure. I could have floated the mana. I still have another source here. We're just gonna swing with everything. Unsummon, fine. And then we're gonna Deadly Dispute here. And we're gonna auto-pay. Sacrificing the Ghast. Giving that -1/-1. Killing their only source of creature. And we're gonna say go. So we're in a good spot. They're at 6. We're at 20. That's fine. And Delver's fine. Definitely good for us. They only have 1 mana open. We're gonna play our tap land. We'll play Edgar, just because that pumps our 1/1s to 2/2s, and we'll swing in for 4. All right, they take it. Interesting. It's not something I would do in that scenario. We're gonna say go. They have to draw a few more creatures, just because their board state's not enough to save their life total. We have 2 more. Edgar comes back. We'll keep this one. We're on the play. We have lands. Don't have any snow lands, which is unfortunate for something like a Faceless Haven, but I think it's playable regardless. We can get like a Professor and iTwitch to possibly dig us them. But we will play turn 1 Shaman Ghast. And say go. Alright. Playing some sort of blue. Sweet. Some sort of blue, I have no idea. What Professor? They have like a wash away. Is like the only thing I can think of. We'll get environmental sciences just to make sure we hit our land drops. Get our snow mana. We have an off turn next turn, so we could play like Bright Climb, or we play environmental, get our other snow land, or we could play like Faceless Haven, get so it comes out. It doesn't have Summon Sickness. I don't know. There's a couple plays. All right. I mean, we're not pressured to do much here, so we'll attack for 3. Our opponent looks like they're also playing mono blue of some sort, or they're missing their other color. Well, environmental sciences. We'll get our second black just because our Lolth is 2 black. I think that's the only thing that's double color in here. So we'll get a black mana source, and then we'll play an iTwitch and say go. So we just have to get into that range. I mean, they could draw a disruption there. Sure. I don't really need the iTwitch. All right, our opponent's passing, which is interesting for us, right? So we're not pressured to really play anything. So we'll oh, I don't have enough snow lands, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to attack. I don't want to play into another Jawari, so I'm not going to play Edgar. I'm just going to say go. Just going to say go. I didn't realize I only had 3 snow lands out, so I will only have enough to activate, but activate a tap Faceless Haven. And like I said, you have 2 mana open. They played 1 Jawari. There's a possibility they have other Jawaris. That's why they kept the 2 mana hand. Sure. They probably have 2 Fate and Hopes then? It's kind of weird to play a Fate and Hope. Alright, my turn. Sweet. Put pressure on them. We'll attack first. Alright, so they don't have anything to bounce, so I think Edgar's the play here. And Shaman Ghast. Okay, no counters. So next turn we hit for... Hold on. Hold your horses. Game. There we go. So we hit for 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 5 from the Face of Saving because it's a changeling, counts as every creature type essentially. It's a +1/+1 counter from Edgar, so we hit it for 12. So we'd have lethal next turn if they didn't have any way to disrupt us. We're on the play. Hand's decent. Yeah, I'll keep. It's keepable. I'll just have a couple tap lands, but we're on the play, so I think it doesn't matter. So we'll play our Sinkhole. Next turn we play our other tap land. That's fine. If we can, get to their creatures before they play too many creatures, Meathope Massacre is gonna be great here. All right. Okay. So I'm not gonna block. I'll take the 2. I'm not in any pressure right now to block. I think we play Sinkhole unless he go. No attacks in turn. So let's see how they multi-spell here. They are gonna attack. They are gonna attack, and that's gonna train. So we're gonna pass. We'll block here, and then we'll Deadly Dispute. Get a treasure. We'll get Environmental Sciences. Draw 2 cards. We'll Spider Queen. Sweet. What does this do? Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Let's just reset their board. We'll do this for 3. Still does it. Still does it. Regardless of what you do, it still does it. Billy's on the stack. Sure. Dumb. One, 2, 3 right now. We'll gain some life. Kind of negate what they're doing here. We'll get a swamp. No attacks. We'll hold back. This kind of holds back their Usher. Could hold back their Adeline if they don't draw anything. We'll block. So I think this is where we get rid of their creature board. So that we have 4 open. Yep. So no, undo. What? That's how much that costs? Jeez. I didn't realize if we could pay more than 4, it does that. So Redain's actually pretty good here. So we need our spot removal, which I've actually realized we haven't really drawn a lot of. Cleric's good. So we definitely need to. I think we have actually enough to should have attacked though, because their Adeline would have triggered. But we can Lolth next turn. Can I meat hook now for 4? It's cost 8. All right. Then we'll Lolth. And we will give ourselves 2 blockers. Sure. It's perfectly fine with us. We're not dead, so I'm not worried. So going base. Nice. All right, going wide here. So we have 8, so we can Blood on the Snow. We could just wipe their whole board. No, we can't. So we'll Blood on the Snow here. Destroy all creatures. Pay with 8 snow. Sure. We'll get an Eye Twitch. We'll get our 4/4. We'll draw a card. I'll lose a life. That's fine. Nice. I don't know what they're doing here. Discard a card, exile 3 cards from your graveyard, gains first strike. Sure. And we'll do this for 1. Get some counters, gain some life, them lose some life. We'll get Mascot. We'll -3. Now we have board presence, play your land, and we'll Mascot. Nice. Swing it all. And we are back. So I know I didn't play like a lot of games to get a really large sample size in the most part, but I mean the idea of the deck actually seems like it works fairly well. It is a deck that grinds against the best of the aggro decks in the matchup. I know, like I said, I'm not very high in the rank queue, but I will try doing more of this to kind of see how, even against no matter what tier you're at in the rank queue, how a deck will do. Only time will tell on where this deck lands, but I do think, like I said, it has a lot of good synergies. I like the idea of getting multiple Edgars out, keeping one as the coffin, producing 1/1 tokens, while also having the other one as kind of like the aggressor to kind of pump those tokens when they get put out on the battlefield. Meathook Massacre, I can't say enough about this card. It's a great card. Combine that with Blood on the Snow. I mean, the Black, I think, currently has the better of the board wipes, just because I do think both those cards combined are great, because it is like wipe the board, get something back based on the snow you paid. This one kind of like, you know, you lose life, or your opponent loses life equal to the amount of creatures that you control die. You gain life equal to the amount of creatures that your opponent's control died. So like I said, it has a lot of utility. I know I didn't go over this in the pre-game talk of the deck, but the lesson board is pretty straightforward. It has 2 Environmental Sciences, 2 Necrotic Fumes, 2 Mascot Expeditions, and 1 Confront the Past. The rest of the sideboard is if you want to mess around and go into the best of 3 and play some best of 3 Magic, as you know, sometimes people like to see how it does in more of a competitive standpoint, as best of 1's completely different idea or matchups when it comes to decks and what people are playing compared to best of 1. But with that being said, guys, if you like the video, hit that like button. If you're new here, when I post new videos to the channel, hit that subscribe button. It puts a +1/+1 counter on the channel. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.